People is proud to present the 40 Days 40 FinTechs, an initiative under its Include Everyone program, which is leading the way in advocating for technology that promotes financial inclusivity. Since 2020, we've profiled over 100 FinTechs, and our latest season is shining a spotlight on those breaking down digital barriers and transforming lives for the better. Join us in this financial inclusivity revolution, presented with generous support from the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Follow hashtag 40 Days 40 FinTechs, hashtag Level 1 Project to learn more and get involved in creating a brighter financial future for all.
The 4 Days for FinTechs initiative continues to shine a spotlight on innovations that are serving the unserved and underserved people in Uganda and across Africa. On day 33 of the annual 4 Days for FinTechs initiative, season 5, we are glad to host a representative from iSOKO. Please introduce yourself.
My name is Mutukula. I'm the ICT technical assistant for iSOKO, the Ugandan component of the Ugandan chapter.
Thank you so much. For those watching you for the very first time, what is iSOKO?
Thank you so much. I would like to start with a brief about how iSOKO came about. In 2016, we had a research conducted by Trademark Africa on cross-border women and as to why they were losing their money, because most of them were losing a lot of money during that cross-border trade. But this came up with a conclusive answer as to why they are losing money, it being that they didn't have information. So that's how iSOKO came about. But on top of having to provide for them information, iSOKO also added more modules within it. That's the market module, which helps them to still do their business, even if they're at home or even if they're not within the premises of their businesses. So that's how iSOKO came about. I stands for the digital part. Then SOKO, it's in all over East Africa, Swahili is used, and SOKO means a shop or a market. So that's how we combined it to come up with iSOKO. And iSOKO is being used in 5 countries as per now. That's Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Burundi, with a more insight of expanding it all over Africa to all the regions where Trademark Africa is expanding to. And that's the main thing, that Africans at least can have their own shop online, and they can still trade in between two or more states.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Maybe before we go further, someone might want to know, who are cross-border traders?
Cross-border traders, we basically concentrated on women, but everyone who does business in between 2 countries at the border points, we categorize them as cross-border traders. And this is most common in, let me use one of the borders we have, that's Malaba. You realize that there are people who sleep in Malaba, the Ugandan side, and buy their items from the other side of Kenya. And in that case, there are people who still use that opportunity to also smuggle in goods. And the mere reason as to why is just because they lack information. That's how they end up getting into hands of enforcement of URA and the other government bodies. So that's how we came up with an idea of how we can help these people, not only the institutions, the government institutions, but as well as the people who do trade on borders.
All right. Yes, make us understand, how does iSOKO work? Now that you have given us the background of how it came about, how does it work?
When you head to iSOKO and you download it from Google Play, currently we are still on Android. The mere fact that Android is the most used around East Africa and most African countries, but we are still on Android, so you can go and get iSOKO, download it, register, create an account. You as a user, you should have an account. And on top of that, you should, if at all you have your products, you should have good images of your products, post them. In case me as a person who is using iSOKO, I'm in Kenya, I can still place an order on iSOKO. You receive a notification in form of email and in form of SMS that there is an order which has been placed on your products. So it gives full details of the person buying, so we can connect within the in chat app within iSOKO itself, so that we can chat and negotiate about, we can proceed with our business. So that's one of it. Then there is another part of providing information, everyday information. Then there is another part for exchange. Most people don't know the rates, the exchange rates per day, but we have them automatically. Then there is information about taxes from the different countries, as well as the tax calculator. In case you buy goods, you get to calculate how much you need to pay. In case you're to do payments to maybe the responsive bodies. It gives the different information basically about business and what you need to carry out your business in the different regions. That's why we have a big number of countries on it, or instances.
Thank you. I want to get you right. You have mentioned quite a lot of things that you do on that platform. So one, market information. Who needs what? How do they need it? Prices, etc. Then two, forex, currency conversion, among others. Then three, e-commerce trade platform. All those are provided. Yes, you have indicated that you started it as a platform for cross-border traders,
To
mainly
provide-
women.
Mainly
Yes.
women, to provide information to them.
Yes. And you have since grown it to add on all those other components.
Yes.
So I might want to know, how many cross-border traders, for instance, have you enrolled on that platform since you started it?
Currently, since we started onboarding users, that's about 2 years ago, the total number of users we have is coming to 80,000 users all over all the countries. But we are expecting that to grow bigger by the end of this year, to an estimated number of around 120 users.
100,000.
100,000 users.
Okay.
Yes.
That is for the entire 5 countries.
For the entire 5
and those
countries.
are mainly women.
And those are mainly women. But we now realize that business, you can do it as a 1-6 side.
True.
So it's now an inclusive platform. Even a man
Can do. Okay.
So that's why we encourage everyone, even a man or youth, you can still be part of the platform.
Okay. My follow-up question would be, is it also open to the rest of the countries? I mean, is it only for the people at the borders?
No.
Okay.
Since the items which are being sold are not only used by people at the borders.
Yes.
So everyone uses them. Okay. And it's open to every country.
Okay.
Or the only part is that the country we expand to, that's the one we onboard, so that the people within it can
trade there.
Okay. So we are expanding to, in a few months, we will be able to see more countries onboarded and realize that you can still trade within those countries, view their products from those countries. And that means we are expanding and we are looking at having Africa on the same platform, the entire Africa.
All right. Now, I want you to take me step by step. I have a friend of mine, she's called Awuma. She's the chairperson of women cross-border traders at Elegu, the Ugandan side. Yes, she's the chairperson of the Ugandan side, Elegu. And Margaret is the chairperson of the Nimule side. Awuma is in Uganda, Margaret is in Nimule. Now, you are Awuma in Elegu. How does she onboard onto the platform and put her products there step by step?
Me as Awuma, I need to have a smartphone.
Yes.
The first time. Or else, if at all I don't have a smartphone, so long as I can access internet.
Okay.
Either using a computer or using a phone.
Yes.
But so long as I can use that, then I need an email address.
Okay.
And I need a phone number too.
Okay.
So when I reach that part of downloading, there's a part whereby it will ask you to register. When I register, I input my credentials and I get my own account. The moment I open up my own account, it will still give me a notification of you've created an account on iSOKO. So that takes me back. When you open up that application, it has all the 4 modules, the main modules listed down on the pan. So when to upload your products under the market part, there's a part where when you tap on it, there's a part where it can ask you to upload your products. And when you upload your product, you as a person who's on the other side, that's Margaret, you'll be able to see that there is a product by Awuma. And from that point, there's a part whereby me as Awuma, I can select how much I can supply. So you as a person on the other side who is buying, it's your initiative to input how many products you want. So when you input them, then you can place an order. Me as a person who is the owner of the shop, I call it the virtual shop because it's almost like a shop. However much you don't move with your products physically. So I'll be able to get a notification that Margaret made an order, or maybe peanut butter, and I'll be able to contact Margaret because all the details come through. Either I confirm that I have the products, or I decline and notify Margaret that the products are not available or they're out of stock. Yes. So that's how the application works. So the only bit is that about payment, we don't want to go into payment as per now, since the most number of people we are looking at to benefit from it are not into that much of trusting online payments as per now.
Okay. Yes, now you have broken it down of a transaction getting completed. But in this case, it is of 2 ladies, one in Elegu, another one in Nimule. Let us paint a different picture. Now those are the border. So now the customer is let me say the customer is in Nakasongola, but he or she went on to iSOKO and they saw butter and they want maybe let us say honey, and they want her to buy maybe 10 or 50 liters. How do we complete the transaction, and how does the honey reach the customer in Nakasongola?
Using the previous steps, personally, I will ask me as the person who is the owner of the shop, I'll ask the buyer the way they are comfortable on how to send in the money, so that we go to that. Then on the same platform, we have a part for services. That's the logistics services. So someone can register as an individual, a logistics company onto the application. So those logistics companies are supposed to provide the regions where they operate. So that means still at the same platform, when I place an order, I can choose the logistics company I want to deliver my goods. But this doesn't take only those companies which are registered. It takes everyone who can do that business. Because remember, most of our people, let me say Uganda specifically, are not into legalizing their businesses. They do the services, but the businesses are not legalized. But remember, these people are still part of the chain, whether we want it or not. So how are we going to... The reason that's why we had to provide the logistics part is that everyone who is in logistics and can provide logistics, you as a person, you can have your own person you trust. And you tell them that you can log on to this application. I'll be placing my orders through you. So that one becomes your logistics person. So that means already now when the logistics person receives the goods, they already delivered.
Yes. Yes, thank you. I'm so interested in knowing how the women cross-border traders have benefited from this platform. What has your impact been since you rolled out this platform, specifically for the women cross-border traders in Uganda?
In Uganda, I would like to use one of the examples. I'm sorry to use this. The chapter leader of the women group cross borders in Busia, that's Mirima, had an issue with her daughter who had a skin issue. But this woman didn't know where to get the products they were recommending for her daughter to use. She went onto the platform, realized that the drugs are in Kenya. She placed an order and they were delivered. Now that's one of the stories. Then there are so many other ones whereby people from Soroti place orders for ghee from Barara, such. That's within Uganda. So that means there is that component of nowadays people can trade. Remember, this era we are in is the information era. The moment you miss information, the moment you're kicked out. But so many stories around and people are trading already. Yeah, so those are some of the stories. Maybe when you talk about the other thing is about what is happening currently. When someone buys a good from Kenya and he wants to cross over to Uganda, there's a let me call it like a policy that some goods below some threshold are not supposed to pay taxes. But before, some women didn't know that. That's why they ended up using the shortcuts. But nowadays they know that this is not supposed to pay tax. I know this is, and this is indicated here. So that's how we have been helping more to provide more information. That's a bit of providing information. Then financially, people making money, people are already trading.
Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Yes, I know even with all those rosy stories, there should be challenges somewhere. What main obstacles have you interfaced with while rolling out this platform?
Now, one of the challenges we have been facing out is that the trust for digital change in Uganda is still very low. This affects the uptake and this affects the appreciation too. So this is going to take us time to make sure appreciate that there is change in the implementation of business processes and strategies. How do you operate now so that when you have a client in Nakasongola, they are never far away from you? You get? So those are some of the challenges we are facing, that people in business or even Ugandans are still failing to appreciate the digital change. But the uptake is very low depending on the age bracket. So that's what we are trying to find ways of addressing. But one of the things we have seen is patience. So we are patient with the population. So as time goes on, we shall be able to reach that part. And the other thing is about how we can control the stories these people have had from other platforms so that they don't affect us. when someone hears about a digital platform, they think what happened in the previous applications they interacted with would be the same on this other side. So you realize that that's one of the challenges we have. And maybe the other thing is about the funding on how to roll out, because we wanted to make everything free for everyone. Those are some of the challenges we are facing.
Okay, yes, thank you so much. As High People, we have done quite a lot of research around cross-border traders, cross-border women traders, most of those in the informal setup. And the key challenges that we have identified, one is the trust, which you have competently explained. The other issue is cost of devices,
The cost of devices.
cost of data, and network challenges. Now, I want to ask you this question. As the brains behind iSOKO, what are you doing to mitigate these other challenges? Cost of data, cost of devices, and network. I know you are dealing with development partners like Trademark Africa and their development partners they work with. So what interventions are you putting in place to ensure that these women actually get smartphones with data so that they can fully exploit and use the platform for the purpose it was made for?
One of the ongoing processes or talks we have is with the different device companies on how they can provide devices to these people, on how it's possible to make a plan that these people can prepare and still use those gadgets so that they can access the information that they need. But currently, we are actually advising most of the people that in case you have capacity to buy a device, please do. So that by the time we finalize with the other part of the talks, at least you've moved a step so that you're not left out. That's one of the things we do. And this should be noted as, and if you have your business and you love it and you want to gain from it, an input into it is a positive to your business. Sure. So that's why we request these people, in case you have the capacity, please buy it. But we are still in talks with companies which provide devices on credit.
Okay.
So that they can have that. And secondly, as per now, lucky enough, the telecom companies are trying to scale out bigger. So that one is positive, and we are so happy that at least in almost every village, you can access at least data at some point.
All right, thank you so much for your time. In 2 minutes, please face your camera and build a case as to why women cross-border traders should use iSOKO, but even most importantly, the market should access it and purchase products from there.
I'd like to call upon all the people in Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, East Africa, and Africa to access iSOKO. This is our own product, our own African product. And this is meant to make sure that we also have our own products showcased to the entire world, so that we can have buyers from as far as Europe, and as well as still trade and gain some money into our homesteads. You don't need to be having a business that is well established or too big for you to have this platform. It's free. Every service is free on it. So please use this. In case you need more information, you can still contact us, but please use this platform so that you can showcase out your products. You can as well use it to buy at your own comfort, so that it's actually meant to make sure that everyone, wherever they are, can access information and still do trade and still earn some money into their pockets, to make sure that we reach that point of financial freedom as other countries are trying to do it.
Thank you so much. Like you have heard from him, iSOKO is supporting last mile financial inclusion by presenting a platform that connects cross-border traders to an unlimited market. In fact, so far, over 80,000 cross-border traders, mainly women, are using iSOKO to transact. This has been day 33 of the annual 4 Days for FinTech Initiative, Season 5. Thank you so much for watching, and see you soon.